O que está aparecendo?
Go from there.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you, Roberto, for your words, kindly words. I'm going to introduce everyone. Okay. First time, Daniel Ancheyta is the director at MARCA Claro. Thank you for coming. I have a question to break the ice. Your best player ever, a musician, just to break the ice.
Well, I have to say it's obviously Hugo Sanchez.
Okay.
This Mexican striker. Sorry, Cinto. I know you're from Barcelona, but Hugo Sanchez, that he was a huge striker for Real Madrid, and okay. I will say that. And regarding the music, I will say maybe Pearl Jam. It's my favorite band ever. So okay. That will be my favorite interest in these two topics.
Okay, nice. Hugo Sanchez, you know, I am Real Madrid fans, and I makes sense you have this reference, and really good guy.
Yeah.
Welcome,
yeah.
And
thanks.
And after this, Juli, Ferré, I never met you before, but so nice to have you in the panel. And how are you? And well, what is your best football player ever, a musician?
Well, thank you very much for the invitation. It's really a pleasure. I'm gonna try to get this going better because I'm from Barcelona also, so I will compensate a little bit. So I think that as a player, I want to say that you know, I grew up in the years of Romario, so I think Romario brought a lot of magic also onto the pitch. So I would say Romario. And in terms of music, I'm a big fan of Queen. So, you know, I'm also a classic. So these are my choices.
So nice. Well, one for Real, one for Barcelona. I feel you have the same taste than Alcorta.
Alcorta remembers Romario, that's for sure.
Closer than you and me.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. After this, James, thank you for coming. We are so excited to be with you over here. Say you hi, and for sure, what is your best football and musician? For sure, for music, you have more experience maybe than another one.
Music, that's a hard one. I'll start with football. I'm a Manchester United fan, so my man was Eric Cantona, because at our best in the 90s, he changed everything, and he did it with some pretty cool charisma, which I love. And that kind of personality is just so nice to have in football. For music, it's probably cliche, but it would probably be John Lennon from the Beatles, but more because even now you hear records, you hear music that basically the Beatles did like 40, 50, 60 years ago, which is frankly ridiculous. So yeah, Lennon and Cantona, it's a pretty good combination.
Yeah. Manchester, Liverpool. So everything's so close.
We don't mention Liverpool though.
Okay. Thank you a lot, James. And after this, Cinto, welcome. Thanks a lot to be your business partner in the SoccerConXP. And I throw the same question. I think you are going to be close also Barcelona. What happened?
Yeah, for sure. I'm a crazy FC Barcelona fan. So probably for me, it's a difficult answer because my heart is in two parts. One in the past, as a legend, probably my best football player is Ronaldinho, and he probably changes a lot the football world in the last years. And actually Leo Messi. I mean, there is no doubt about that. He is the best football player in the world, and probably for you is Cristiano. But and regarding music, I'm following Juli, so I'm a huge fan of Queen, and Freddie Mercury, it's my best musician.
Yeah. Okay, sound nice. Barcelona, Barcelona, Barcelona.
Yeah.
Okay, well done, well done. And after this, thank you, Cinto, too much. I would like to know what you're thinking about the next Champions League game against Barcelona, against Bayern Munich. Anyway, keep your comment after introduce Dee. Hello, Dee. How are you?
I am good, thank you. Thanks for having me on the panel.
Yes, it's a pleasure. Thank you for being part of this digital series. Are you in New York or in Europe? Where
no, I'm currently in London. So I left New York at the end of March because of the virus, and then I haven't been able to get back since. So still working on it.
Okay. It's your turn.
Yes.
Ask about the questions.
So this may be a surprise. Some of you may not be, but I didn't grow up in a football family. My family were always into motorsports, so I didn't grow up with football. So I only started really learning about football when I started working in it. So my favorite player, and more so because of everything he represents off field, is Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a marketing dream. So, and obviously an excellent player. So he's definitely my favorite. And then in terms of musician, I would have to say my all-time favorite is probably Prince, which I used to get a lot for in school because he was way before my time, but I had an older brother and sister and all of their musical tastes washed off onto me.
Sound nice. Excellent. Nice choice. And yes, I super agree with you. Cristiano is one of the best. I introduced myself like a business director of the SoccerCon, as Roberto GOMDE said. And my best player is, for me, is Ronaldo, but Nazario, not Cristiano. For me, was one of the best in the world. And for music, I love something close to Manchester. Radiohead, Tom York is my cup of tea. I love this kind of music, and I like a lot. Then after this, thanks to everyone to come in again, and let's try to understand about the contents that we are meeting here. And yes, we are going to discover some tendencies and some keys about the soccer fan engagement, mainly in these times in digital environment. Then the football business flow to digital, and also the fans demand more exclusive content to be more close and fast. Then we are going to put two videos, one about Bayern Munich, the new digital activation of Bayern Munich is called Audi Digital Summer Tour. After this, the digital activation for called the Kick-Off, about a mix between music and soccer to celebrate the big party of the Champions League finals and also Europa League. Okay, and we have James and also Dee. We can ask there whatever we thinking will be interesting for the attendees and also for us. Okay. Then I'm trying to put the video of Dee from my computer. Let's see how it works. Okay, not sure if I can. I'm not sure if Andre is over here. Andre?
So what are you trying to do, Eduardo? I can check.
I'm trying to share my screen as before we did.
Just one second. Let me check.
Okay, maybe I don't have the privilege.
Eduardo, try to see if you can do it now, please.
Okay. Thank you, Roberto.
Okay, you are welcome.
In it to win it, pushing the limits, relentless. My passion is endless. They threw dirt on my name, now they singing it.
Hi fans, this year we had to stay far away, but actually we are closer than ever.
Right.
Wow. B?
Yes, thank you. So what you just saw there was a highlights reel of our Audi Digital Summer Tour. So this summer we were supposed to be in China for our pre-season tour, but like with every other club, we have not been able to travel. But for us, it was really, really important that we still connected with our fans, no matter where in the world they were. So we came up with the idea to do a digital summer tour, a global one, not focused on any particular region. And as part of that, we were able to really bring fans into our preparation for Champions League. So that included live training sessions. We did things with influencers, kind of with Ajram from Club America to Steve Aoki. We did things with our legends. We had a daily live show. There was lots and lots of engagement. And I think the most important thing is our fans, especially during this time, still felt that they were close to the club and they were part of what we were doing in our preparation for the upcoming games. I'd love to share stats and things with you. I can't right now, we're just evaluating it all, but it was a huge success and a real kind of great example, we feel, for fan engagement, especially during these difficult times.
Okay, so to be honest, I feel like a super interesting fan activation and so creative, so close to the fans. Just in my mind thinking, you are getting more fans from wherever, from worldwide, or do you feel the same fan that always is a fan just throw to digital?
Well, it's It's always twofold. We are always catering to our existing fans, making sure that we stay connected, but we are also always trying to reach a new audience, trying to build the FC Bayern fan base. So with our legends and all the activations we do with our players, that's definitely really exciting things that we do with our current fan base. We did a lot of fan surprise calls where Muller, for example, would call a fan in Thailand and the reaction was incredible. We also had Thiago call a fan in Brazil, and you know, the reactions were priceless. But the reason we connect with, for example, Steve Aoki, the electronic dance music icon, is because he helps us reach a whole new audience. So through him, we were able to reach his fan base, who are now exposed to FC Bayern Munich and interested because Steve Aoki's interested. And our fan base are like, oh my God, I love Steve Aoki even more. I didn't know he was a Bayern fan. So it's always twofold, everything that we do.
Wow. So nice, to be honest. Thank you for sharing this, and congratulations for a good job. They're going to introduce the kick-off with James, and after this we can talk about different topics that with different questions. Hey James.
How you doing?
Hey, so exciting to listen from you, to hear from you about the kick-off. Exciting to know more about the points, the backstorming, how it was created. You know, to be honest, I thinking when the music and the sport have a miss, it's like a bomb for the fans. Then therefore I love this job. Please go ahead.
Listen, I agree completely. I think most of us probably here know that football and music are these amazing common denominators. They bring people together more than anything else. They kind of cross cultures. They heal division at their best. They're incredible kind of similarities, these passion points. I used to work in football for 4 years, and now I'm lucky enough to work in music. And it's really interesting the way these worlds have so many similarities. For the kickoff, this was, I guess, a very, very speedy creative process. I was contacted by the Heineken Group to talk about potentially doing something this year. They had the rights with UEFA for the Champions League and now Europa League too, but they could not activate in the way that they wanted to, of course, because of the pandemic. So normally they'd throw an after party. But they came to us seeing something that we'd done at Defected recently and wondered if we could do something similar. Now, Defected Records is, for those who don't know, is a dance music. It's like a 21-year-old house music label. And during March, we started a virtual festival where rather than be on the dance floors, like we'd be in Ibiza right now, or we have a Croatia festival, but sadly we're not. So instead we held a virtual festival. We brought people together. And it did really well. It reached, we had about 18 million views in our 10 weeks of virtual festivals. We had everyone from Calvin Harris to Carl Cox came on. And we managed to, I guess, give people some positivity in a time where we were feeling isolated. So we took that model alongside Heineken and what they could do, alongside their creative agency, M&C Saatchi in Amsterdam, who were fantastic. And we put together a lineup that include like house music legends like Bob Sinclair from France, like Purple Disco Machine from Germany, like Melvin Baptiste and Low Stepper from the UK and Monkey from the UK, and Idris Elba as well. And we had it from various locations around the world, from Sao Paulo to Lisbon. And we pieced it all together over one night last Sunday. And it was to be a celebration of the start of this month, which is for UEFA a kind of, it's almost like a World Cup in the respect that it's 3 very busy weeks of football. Now, we've all been affected by the lack of fans at the moment. It's kind of hard, but I have to say, having football basically every single night of Champions League and Europa League kind of nearly makes up for it. So this was meant to be a celebration. It was meant to join different parts of the world. Like D, I can't give you every result, but put it this way, it's kind of fascinating that we went across social platforms like YouTube, like Facebook, on Defected's channels. It's going out again. It's being replayed in China in a week or two. We have many millions watching live, but there's also a huge on-demand audience who catch up, watch again. For Defected, we're putting the sets out, we're pulling out individual moments of individual records, and all the time, of course, it celebrates what we are here to do, which is bringing football and music fused together. So yeah, it's an exciting piece to be involved with. It was a very creative, speedy creative process that happened in about basically 14 days. And before you know it, it was done.
Yeah, I feel that like this. Congratulations, really good job. I would like to show to the rest of the people about the job. I have a video. I'm not sure if I can share with you. Let me see for a while. It's ready, but well, I'm trying to share my screen as well.
The Zoom share screen is nothing but a continual game.
Well,
This is like every day at my workplace. I can hear it, Eduardo.
In a minute, in a moment, better. Okay, ready. No, this is not.
Eduardo, what is this?
Sorry about this. This is another one. Okay, it's here. Sorry. Sorry. No. This is the presentation that you have on Facebook.
Yeah, that was actually the promo, but that's fine. We can share the video afterwards and send it perhaps to the people. So that was just a very short promo video that we did for our channels. But there is a highlights video as well that that we can share separately rather than you having to find again now, that we that is also up there. But we can share afterwards with the attendees.
Okay.
Eduardo, I think we are back. We are back with you. So,
hello, James.
Hey.
I'm not sure what happened with Cinto and Juli.
We're here, huh?
Okay.
No, we are here.
Sorry. Okay. Thank you, James. Just I would like to, if Juli has time to talk about Iqoniq. Also, we are starting to know more about this new application that we launched so soon, about the fan engagement, and well, thinking it will be so interesting for all of us and for the attendees. Please, I don't try to share more screens.
No, luckily I have no video to show, so it's okay. No worries. It's really interesting. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's a new project. It's one of my main clients. It's called Iqoniq. and it's a new digital platform that is going to be launched in end of September, and the idea is to really do and work on fan engagement. We believe that the current model is reaching a bit of a limit, on the sense that there's a lot of social media. We talk about social media, number of fans, etc. But what's in it really in terms of monetization and the data that goes back to the right holder or the celebrity? And I'm talking sports, but I'm also talking entertainment, because Iqoniq wants to cover both. So Iqoniq wants to do is to change the model and say, well, actually, the clubs, the celebrities, the singers, etc., are going to be like partners of the platform. So they're going to monetize together with the platform. They're going to have the data. So it's not anymore the social media platform owning the data and monetizing. It's shared with back to the clubs, to the leagues, to the celebrities, and it's a very fan-centric platform. So fan engagement, we all know it's so important, but at the same time, it has become like buzzwords or really a bit of empty words, but it's so important. So what Iqoniq wants to do is to have a platform where the fan can find everything, can have the content of social media, but then can get rewards. They can get part of their loyalty program. They can be members or premium members. They can choose if they want to pay to get more benefits, but still with a free membership, they will get a lot. There's going to be tokens. There's going to be a lot of games. There's going to be live score. There's going to be streaming. The clubs that want to, they will provide their ticketing platform also on Iqoniq. The e-commerce, there's going to be a foundation part also. So basically what Iqoniq intends to do, and this is the vision for the coming 3 years, is to become the reference for sports and entertainment. So that they don't have a reason to go anywhere else, because everything will be there. It's a very ambitious project, of course, but what they want to, or we want actually, to break this model in which, there's a social media platform that owns the data and monetizes, and there's only a one-way communication. Actually, it has to be a fan-centric approach, and it has to be really beneficial for both the platform and the clubs and celebrities.
Wow, great job. And yes, it's a big project. Congratulations as well. And after this, I'm trying to talk everyone. I let the hand to Cinto. He has some question to all of us. Feel free to talk about thinking is interesting for the panel. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Juli, for your speech.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much. Thanks, Juli. I'm really excited with Iqoniq, as you know. So let's see in the coming weeks and coming months how it evolves. So thanks, and thanks James and Dee. And I have a very, very short introduction because probably you said everything. But for me, currently, we are living in an environment in which the people cannot attend the stadiums. And this is really, really important. And probably thanks to COVID, the digital world must be the great piece to play, not only for properties, but also for brands. Today, we all do video conferences. We all following social networks. We watch content online, and digitalization is a great key for not for the future, for the present, and even for the past. So my first question to everyone is, how is the digital transformation in this time for you? I mean, probably for Juli, that first, please.
Yeah, I mean, just to kick it off, I think there's no question that digital is important for everyone. It was before COVID-19, but I think it has become the key and the core of any strategy for any company, any football club, any sponsor. As Cinto pointed out, we are in a reality that the limitation of crowds in the stadium or in concerts, it's a very big one. It hits very much the industry. One of the worst parts, I think, is the uncertainty. We don't know for how long we're going to be in this situation, but it's going to be a few months, and I think we all need to be aware of that. So digital was important, but now it's the key. And I think, again, not only digital communication, I think that's a bit what I said before, the limit that we are reaching now. It's not only about how you communicate to your fans, which of course will remain important, but how you make the fans feel important and that they are closer to you. And the ones that are maybe in your city and that, they cannot even go to the stadium, as well as the millions of fans. And of course, Bayern is a fantastic example, the millions of fans you have around the world. The majority of your fans are actually outside your city and outside your country. That was already the case. But now you even need to think about your fans that used to go to the stadium and cannot go to the stadium. You cannot forget that. So I think that the current situation has put digital on the spotlight, and now we're going to see who's good on digital and who's going to be, the ones that they talk about digital but they're not that good, and they're going to be the ones that suffer most in this situation.
Yeah, thanks. What's your opinion, Dee, here?
It's interesting because absolutely digital has definitely accelerated even more so, but I think this is something that, people don't talk about. FC Bayern has had the office in New York servicing the Americas since 2014. So for 6 years, we've been working really hard to make our fans in that region feel like they're with our players in Munich. We've always had the distance. We've always had that separation. So we're quite used to trying to be creative and create engaging ways to connect with our fans, no matter how many miles there are between us. So I think what has been really helpful is our team in the US has worked really closely with headquarters with, what has worked for us while we are thousands of miles away and how we can implement that on a global level. So that's something interesting that I think people don't realize. We do this every day anyway.
Okay, thanks, Dee. I have now one question for probably more focus on Daniel and James, because we are speaking that we are following social media networks and etc. And fans keep always updating, but I see maybe too much channels, no? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the official apps of the clubs, of the music, etc. But what else? What's next? What we will see in the future? And second question, how we can manage these audiences? I mean, we have a lot of social media channels, and we need to interact with them. But how to manage every single app or all together?
Who first, James or me?
Up to you.
From an editorial point of view, I think there are many issues going around right now regarding the social media channels. For example, in our case, we always ask ourselves, first of all, does it make sense, for example, to have presence in TikTok? No, for example, no. And how can we monetize? Obviously, we have the social media interaction that the brands are always looking to. But I think it is very important for media, to obviously we see all the social media channels as windows of we can put our content. But also it is the business question. How can we monetize through these social media channels? The perfect example of this is TikTok, no? Because we haven't figured out the way to monetize. No, obviously we know Facebook and Instagram are the kings of social media, but as well at the same time we have a huge challenge because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, all the business model was to monetize through the website, no? And now the audiences are in TikTok, in Facebook, in Instagram, no? So what we are trying right now to do is to have content for each social media channel. I think it's a huge mistake to copy paste from one social media to another. We have to understand that the audiences are different from Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, for example.
Thank you. James?
Yeah, like, I think an interesting start point is from adversity, where we couldn't get these physical events in play anymore. We've always done loads in digital, but to digitally create an event where we bring people together, that's made a really interesting point, because even a really, I don't know, exciting big club night for a music brand, a record label like Defected might have 5,000 people in it, but our virtual festival would reach, well, would have 2-3 million people just watching, which are incomparable numbers. So you have a really interesting moment there, which is, of course, not digital transformation. We are a digital business. We do all our marketing digitally. We live on social and digital channels. But to create a physical, what is normally a physical event, and take it out to so many, that's interesting. I think it makes us think about next year. Like, if we are putting on an event next year, which is physical, maybe in Ibiza, maybe like an Ibiza festival, or maybe there'll be a small digital component. Maybe there'll be a virtual behind the scenes. Maybe I can invite you and you go, but you have 5 digital passes to give to your friends who can't go. I think people are really tuned into this idea of moving it forward. So in music, because everything changed in March for so many people, it is created like an arms race, but a really good one. You know, like, I'm sure you've seen so many examples. Travis Scott in Fortnite, in the game Fortnite, which had huge numbers of people watching an artist. Or like a game like Minecraft creates a Minecraft festival, for example, or artists charging to watch them at certain moments as an online broadcast. No one quite knows where it's going to go yet, but everyone is trying. Everyone is more creative and everyone is innovating. So from this horrible situation, I think there's a really exciting creative moment. And again, I go back to what I said before, music and football are so similar. So just as we are challenged with the lack of fans in a stadium in many parts of the world, how will this develop? Will there be new innovations which are brought to life right now that become common in the game? So what happens in music and football, I think, will share lots of similarities. The idea of innovation and creativity and remaining positive through this, I think, is really one that we're trying to grab hold of and stick with.
Thank you. Thank you, James. This question is for everyone, and probably we'll see different points of view. The question, yeah?
Cinto, just one question. I'd like just to add to your question, how you guys see, because of course attendance has one, well, I think one of the biggest impacts, of course, is the revenue. So how exactly you guys see all this digital, all the other options that you can go about what we're talking here now to compensate this problem with the revenue they're losing regarding the attendance? Is that some work specific towards this, or this, because even to season tickets for the next year, I don't know if you guys are seeing how you can compensate this huge problem with the digital or this kind of activations.
From a strictly music perspective, just to quickly answer, the reference I made to what we were doing, we didn't charge. You know, we couldn't just immediately charge like we would charge people tickets. You know, in a normal year, Defected have 500,000 paying ticket buyers to a night in Ibiza or Eden or a Glitterbox event, or that's a lot. We didn't do that. But what you do, of course, is something different. It becomes a shop window. It becomes a vehicle. So artists and DJs seen around the world, many for the very first time, many creating new fans, mean we sell more records, we get more streams. So it's perhaps a stage removed, but it is still ultimately for a commercial benefit. One that we didn't necessarily set out to achieve, but when you see record streaming, because so many people see your virtual event, then you can see how you can make money. It just can't be the direct replacement from our perspective. I don't know what D or others kind of think, or whether they have a similar experience.
Well, in Mexico and in Latin America, maybe we have a huge problem that the media depends a lot on gambling advertising. So obviously with no sports, there was no gambling, no? So, so what we have to do was to be more creative, no? To find out and obviously to make some more content about sportainment, about entertainment. Obviously, this has been the key in the last months, and obviously, I think the key for the future it's the branded content, because nowadays it's more difficult to sell to the advertisers with these huge numbers that I have 20 million of unique viewers, of maybe to the brands they say, okay, but how do I convert? How do I make sure that my brand is in the correct place? So I think it is very important to point this out.
Yeah, I think if I may add, from the football point of view, it's very difficult to compensate the loss, and that's a fact. I mean, I think it's a huge loss. It's millions and millions. It's a lot of games. It's ticket holders. It's you know, it's hospitality, VIP. I mean, the impact. It's impossible to compensate fully. I think that we're seeing that can be interesting. Again, it's on digital monetization, which again, it's very used words or combination of words, not that easy to accommodate. But what I agree with James is that I think it's the time of innovation, and it's the time. I mean, of course, music is very different than sports, and it's you know, a lot of games. You have the broadcasting rights. It's more complicated. But when you see you know, some digital initiatives and how, you know, some sponsors or clubs that they try to bring the experience somehow into the houses of people. You know, you see some initiatives on virtual reality. You see how the NBA is involving fans through Microsoft. I think that it will never compensate, you know, all the tickets that cannot be sold. But I think it's a way. Innovation is the only way to step up and try to monetize, but also show to the market that you're prepared and you're thinking on how you overcome that, you know. And if people cannot go to the stadium, how can you bring the stadium to the people? And this is the challenge now. It's very complex, but I think innovation and digital is the only way.
Yeah, fully agree, Juli.
Fully agree with you. Sorry, I just want to add to that. Also, you know, COVID-19 has accelerated this push on digital, but we across all sports, I'm sure, have been working for a very long time to look at new revenue streams, what that is, etc. So it is a very complex process, as everyone else has just said. So I think this is definitely the time to explore and see what we can do.
I only want to add something, that maybe the most important challenge is to the experienced fan to go to a stadium, because obviously you can sell virtual tickets or players through your website, but it doesn't compare when you go to the stadium to drink a beer, to buy with this moment that you are very happy to be in the stadium of your team. I think it is the huge challenge, the experience of the fan of being in the place.
Yeah, and this is not only for, you know, for the stadium's attendance. It's also for many big problems that the clubs needs to solve. I mean, meet and greets, experiences, etc. But you said before that and said, okay, we need to create a big branded content, a big opportunities here, but the problem probably here is that you need investment in order to innovate. I mean, and the clubs now needs money, not need investments. And my point here is, and this is the question for everyone, is how does branded content help to build this audience or to generate this kind of, you know, new revenue? Dee, you're gonna start?
Sure, I will. It definitely has a place, right? We do a lot of branded content, and it's always, you know, a tricky challenge to make it not look like an advert. It needs to look like an engaging piece of content that fans can kind of really feel like they're being sold to. So there's always that fine line that we need to kind of put in there. I think one of the things that we've been doing a lot of, and it kind of moves away a little bit from branded content, is a lot of content with influencers. For us, this is the most authentic way to bring our fans together with an influencer who also brings in new fans as well. So I'll go back to the point of what we did with Steve Aoki. You know, we had him together with Gnabry and Martinez, and we created a fantastic piece of content that really kind of reached new audiences for us, but also created a lot of excitement because he got out a lot of great information from our players that they hadn't seen in that setting before. So I think the key really is, it's not just how is branded content going to help us, it's how is a series of different marketing pieces going to help us during this time.
Yeah, James, please.
I would answer something similar again, like when all of this happened, one of the first things we said was we're going to double down on all of the content, everything that we make, all the storytelling that we do, because this would actually be the moment where we could maybe do more and cut through more. If you go quiet, then it's hard to recover. If you're there leading from the front, or rather if you're at the front when everything kind of returns or goes back to some sort of normality, then you'll be doing well. So I kind of spoke to the team, I remember at the time, and talked to them about, this is the time your ideas will get through, frankly. Come up with stuff, change stuff, innovate, try new things out, however small, little social posts, cool Twitter ideas, you know, stuff on TikTok we probably did for the first time, and still are. We've doubled down on the storytelling and the content because we want our artists to be known. We want people to know who is making our records. We want people to hear and discover our music for the first time. And in a time when it was locked down, that was even more prevalent because people were on social digital channels even more. People listen to uplifting music even more. Now we've sort of, through much of the lockdown, we're in a different kind of space. We're just trying not to let up. We're trying to keep the foot on the accelerator, doing as much as we can to make sure that people see and feel and hear what it is that we do. Everything that we do as a brand, I guess we're lucky, is sort of positive and celebratory. It is about unity and bringing people together. There's a great quote from one of our artists called Honey Dijon, who we've got a record out at the moment. And she says, dance floors unite people in a way that governments and religions cannot. And we love that. Now, at the moment, we're not on a dance floor, but everything we try and do is the same ethos. Bring people together, get people excited, create that feeling, and then they'll do the marketing for you.
Yeah, Juli, Daniel, something more to add?
I think from the editorial point of view, the process and the relation between media and advertisers has changed a lot. Because before, we as media said, okay, we have these 10 products, no? That it's very delicate to speak of journalists as products, but at the end of the day, they are products. And the advertiser was, I don't like, I like this, I like that. And I think nowadays the relation has changed completely, because the brands say, okay, this is my product, how does it can fit in your ecosystem? So the process starts from there. No? I think it's very important for the media to understand this. Obviously, in Latin America, there is a huge area of opportunity, because the way we are still monetizing the websites are through impressions. So, for example, Spain and other countries in Europe are more advanced in this. I think there is a lot of opportunity for Latin American websites in the branded content. As you say, it is more expensive, but at the end of the day, I would think it will bring more revenue to the organizations.
Let me just step in again. There's one person who actually left a message here in the chat, which will be together with my question. and which is how you guys see the clubs evolving and evolving more on the esports, or how the esports industry itself is taking over for part of this market or filling this gap?
Well, I think, if I may, sorry, let me just kick it off. And I think that esports, I mean, it's been a very interesting, evolution that we saw in the last months. Pretty natural because people were staying at home, and that was the only thing was going on, let's say, from the competition level. I think, though, that sometimes I feel there's a bit of a mistake thinking that esports is a replacement or anything. I mean, I think that esports, it can really complement what you're doing, and it also depends on your target and your audience. It's like saying, is it good to be in TikTok? Well, it depends who's your target. If you want to talk to a certain segment of the population, it's good to be in TikTok. But if they are not your clients or you're not interested in them, TikTok is not relevant. So I think esports, it's a bit of the same. I mean, you need to understand who is behind esports. I mean, in terms of audience, esports is a very generic. Sports is like saying sports. I mean, within esports, there's really different type of games and different type of competitions. The audience for each game or competition could be completely different. It's not the same Fortnite than a Valorant, than League of Legends. And last but not least, a football club doing a FIFA or Pro Evolution soccer team, that's not really doing esports. That's really, really minimalistic in the field of esports. So I think I just want to put some perspective on esports. I think it's very interesting, but it's very interesting as, a whole new universe, and if it's relevant for your target audience.
I was going to say exactly the same thing, Juli.
Good.
Yeah, completely agree, because, for example, in Mexican soccer, they brought a new product, the E-Liga, and I'm completely agree with Juli. It's not the same audience. It's not the same product. It complements. It's very, obviously, it's a huge audience, the esports audience, but you need to understand it, because it is not the same than the sports audience. Maybe they have points in together, but definitely it's not the same audience. So you have to bring a whole new strategy to this audience, to the esports.
I think I'd add as well that we all know it's big, but I don't know if we all know enough about it in a weird way. Everyone is aware of the scale. We can all talk. We all talk about the many millions. It's very interesting how it sits globally, where in the world it has its popularity, how talent evolves slightly differently within it, how they're seen by the fans, what people watch, what they love to watch. Like, I completely agree about the demographic. Of course, it's a younger audience. I was speaking to like a young 18-year-old, a son of one of my friends only a few weeks ago. He doesn't watch much sport. But when it was proper kind of lockdown and there was nothing on, he sort of flipped to watching some esports, and he's utterly addicted. And he said it's way more interesting, way more exciting than watching what he might have done. Like, I think that's another interesting part, that perhaps an entirely new fan base, maybe slightly older, have suddenly tuned in because there was nothing else going on for a while. And the effect of that will probably be seen more and more this year. So like anything else, you have to respect the numbers and the scale. But I agree completely that you need to know when it is right. You need to know when you should access it. And if at all, it is worthwhile accessing, because it might not be the audience you're going for.
Yeah, guys, I have my last question to everyone, and this is a short answer. What is the innovation or technology that you really believe that can revolutionize the relationship with the fan? I mean, just one innovation or just one technology?
Well, if I may, so I'm the first one. I think
the Iqoniq platform. The Iqoniq platform, no?
The Iqoniq platform for sure. but the Iqoniq platform, it needs to integrate things and that they are working on, and virtual reality is one of them. I think that it's a way that, you know, bring people closer to the action in a very innovative way that we cannot even imagine. And I think virtual reality, it's something that it can be really big, and it can be really accelerated by the current situation. And indeed, I mean, Iqoniq is featuring this because we feel that we cannot miss on that train, and that people are looking for this type of innovations. And you know, it can be really surprising, and it can be really, really amazing. And it's something that you only need a mobile from your home, you know, and that's really powerful.
Okay, James.
Gosh, I don't know if I have one. I love the idea that people borrow from other industries. So like, I remember a few years ago in Major League Soccer, in the MLS All-Star game, they had ref cam. I'm sure most of you saw it or remember it. Might have been a bit of part of it, but it was like a camera on the ref that made it look like playing FIFA. It was completely real. It was incredible. I haven't really seen it much since, but I say it was incredible because it just put you as an audience, as a fan, into a different part of the action. You're seeing it from a very different perspective. The reason I say that's interesting is, A, I think that genuinely offers something new for a live broadcast in, say, football. But again, in the context of this chat and what we're talking about, like, that's interesting in music too. If we can't get to that venue, well, put me on the collar of the guy playing the guitar on stage, or there's an ability to mess around with what we knew was normal. I think that's the important thing. Whatever, and this is what will be happening right now. Like, and it always happens when Facebook emerged, you know, someone was sat in their bedroom playing with something on their mobile, and that became Snapchat. And then soon after, someone was playing with something else and the speed wasn't enough, and it'll be happening now again with probably some bright 16, 17-year-old somewhere, and it will not feel like what this does. And that's cool. That's really nice. The fact that it will flip it again and mess with what we know and look very different is a really nice thing. It's why it's a hard job for all of us, always staying in front of it and then trying to leverage it in marketing or in whatever we're doing.
Agree, James, I agree. Dee?
It's really, really difficult to pinpoint any one thing, and especially when you get into the areas where Bayern Munich sits. So we are a truly global club. We have over 720 million followers across the globe. So our markets are also different. So what works really well in the US is going to be completely different to what our fans in Germany are going to want to see, or how they're engaging, or what tools, etc. they're using. But I think just to kind of be very nerdy about it, taking it back from, you know, which product, I think the key is in analytics. I think there's so much that we need to understand and learn about what works for us in our markets, on our platforms, etc. And for me, that's really the biggest investment that anybody can make.
Thank you, Dee.
Well, I think it's a very difficult question, but from the editorial point of view, I think the most important and maybe the point in the next years will be the content based on the fans, what the fans want, because nowadays we have this paradigm that the content it's based on what journalists think it is important for people. I think the relation will be inverted, that the content that really that fans are looking for, I think that will be the most important thing, more than apps, more than new technologies, that the people is part of this content. I think this is the most important thing.
Well, I have a question for James about from the point of view for events. Okay, this innovation that the industry is working now about digital transformation. Do you think in the future this upcoming event in the new normality or all normality will be 50% virtual, 50% presential? How do you think is going to be managed, this virtual or this digital, in the upcoming events?
I think, listen, in music right now and in dance music, I desperately want to get back to what it was. We want amazing club nights. We want an incredible season in Ibiza. We want an amazing boat party in Croatia. We want to have those moments that people remember forever and love, that is everything that we knew it was. I don't think that is happening very soon, sadly. We hope that it will be returning next year. Will it return in full? Exactly as we know, we just don't know. I do believe some of the innovation that has happened will lead into next year. I do believe there'll be more virtual ticketing. I do believe there'll be more backstage passes seen through your computer screen if you can't make the event. I do believe there'll be more bigger caps, bigger capacity for an event. Some is physical, but maybe another million is virtual for the people in the other side of the world who can't even get there. So I think it will create a greater accessibility. I don't want it to displace what it was. Something very magical happens on dance floors or at music festivals or at gigs that we all want, I think, forever. But perhaps there's a bit around the edge, which is good, which is about many people being able to see it and feel it a little bit, even if they're not there, feel it that little bit more in a virtual way. One of the things we did, which again, I think will happen more, is something like this on Zoom. We did like a secret Zoom party because we couldn't have a Croatia festival this year. So we held a secret party for like 1,000 people who had bought tickets, and we had DJs, we had breakout rooms. You can meet the DJs like we do talk now. We had moments where we said, right now, shots for everyone and everyone, and then the camera turns on people, and you can be fun amongst the problem. You can try and give people back whilst we're also sad that we're not there. And again, it's about trying to keep coming up with means to get that feeling, because you're not there and maybe in person, but maybe you can have some of that feeling.
Yes. Yes, for sure. We are going to follow up this conversation for the upcoming SoccerCon Las Vegas 2021. For sure will be a pleasure to upgrade with music and football, to do a boom. And let's see how we can work about digital and also presential to give the fans and the industry the best experience. Then, in this point, thanks to everyone. If everyone wants to add something, it's the time. And it's not, I appreciate a lot your time, for sure your words, and hope you enjoy the time with this with this digital series. Thank you to everyone, and thank you the moderator Cinto. Very good.
Thanks,
5 stars.
Sure.
Cinto.
5 stars for the panelists.
For sure. And thanks to everyone. Thanks a lot for the attendees, and keep going. I hope everyone will be safe and keep working. Congratulations for all that great jobs, digital jobs. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Goodbye, guys.
Take care.
Thank you.